This is the Bar Steward's Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and welcome to the Boss's Inquiry. Yes, it's Dublin Racing Festival weekend, and for the first time, we're focusing solely on the Irish racing with the mention for the Scilly Isles Chase. And who better to go through proceedings this weekend with four pretty decent judges, really. Myself, John, are just not totally shit, and the better ones, Andy Richmond and trainer Neville Ender. Good evening, chaps.
Good evening.
Good evening, Lee.
Yes, we're ready for this one. Only thing I will say is, though, right, we'll start the show off on the right footing with a sort of a sermon style thing. In terms of the British racing often gets criticised for too many sort of uncompetitive contests. But yet, here we are, the Dublin Racing Festival, and we've got quite a few sort of walkovers. What are we all saying?
Let me give you some... We often get accused of trainers dominating races, don't we, in Britain? But I don't think I've seen anything as bad as this. If it is bad, I'm not saying it is. There's still some competitive races. But I've worked this out, there's 182 runners over the 2 days.
Yep. Wow. Great stuff.
Yeah, there are 100, yeah, well, if they all run. And Mr. Mullins has 49 runners in total. I think he might have one double declaration, but I was whizzing through these quickly. And that is 27% of the runners are Mullins trained. In the grade ones, of which there are 8, there are 52 runners. He has 29 runners, so that's 56% of the runners. And he's got the favourite in 7 of 8 of them. And it's not only the favourite, he probably has strength in depth in quite a few of them, like some of the novice hurdles and there's the Arkle where he's got El Fabiolo in. So yeah. It's a bit of domination. I did see that William Hill, I'm not sure how long this price is going to last. See what you think of this. 7.5 or 7.5 winners or more is 5 to 6. Didn't seem the world's worst bet to me.
Interesting bet pointed out there, Andy, on what you've just said. Coming to you, Nev and John, what are your thoughts on this? Given what Andy's just said also, I'm surprised by these stats. John?
I was just wondering if Andy had any stats on how many horse boxes Willie Mullins has got.
That's he's walking a few there. I don't know, John. He's probably got a few, hasn't he? 27, certainly 22 runners tomorrow and 27 on Sunday. That's right, yeah.
You need $3 wouldn't you, tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Nev, I mean, are you thinking this is good for the one particular trainer dominating like this?
Good for the game? Absolutely not. No. How can you have competitive racing when one trainer is probably going to win, 90% of the top prizes? I think it's just disappointing, really. But everybody wants to send their horses to Willie Mullins because he seems to farm these races, and you have to remember that he does seem to win with his second and third strings, or even fourth strings at times. I think it's uncompetitive.
That's why, Nev, I pointed out the bet on his winners rather than blogger style, which I'm sure will be this weekend. People lumping together sort of horses like Ballyburn, El Fabiolo, State Man, etc. I could go on. I think the 5 to 6 on him having that many winners is a better bet than trying to string together, the string of his favourites and one of them coming down, one of them getting beaten.
Where's our runners?
I don't think there are any. I couldn't find one.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's decent prize money. There's no one going over for anything.
You'd think it was fucking Australia, wouldn't you?
Like going for Melbourne Cup, isn't it? It's too far. It's too far.
Probably costly because you know that if you run a horse, for instance, in the Irish Gold Cup, you're not going to win it. And nobody wants to send the horse over to Ireland just for the sake of being placed at best. Because, in all honesty, Galopin de Champs is almost certainly going to win the Irish Gold Cup. Any horse that's rated 180 over fences, well, we've got nothing in this country anyway. That's just one. The champion hurdle in Ireland, they're not going to send Constitution Hill over because he only runs in his cherry-picked races anyway. So I don't know. And the ground's always testing. Do you really want to, I mean, Cheltenham is the be-all and end-all for everybody now. Maybe I don't know why some of the handicaps aren't contested by some of the British runners, but you know, when the Irish send horses over to this country, their horses seem to win all our races, even handicaps. So maybe we're at a disadvantage even in the handicaps.
I think that's it.
Maybe one over tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Sunday? Sophie Leach has got one tomorrow in one of the handicaps.
Yeah, I think she has, yeah. Less said about that, the better. Right, we move on to the best bets round. We'll touch on this on the sermon on Sunday a little bit in more depth, but we'll come on to the best bets round. And of course, this is where we go 1, 2, and 3 points. And hopefully we shall carry on our good vein of form this National Hunt season. Andy currently leads the Naps table, bidding for another crown of Naps King. So Andy, we'll start with you with your 1-pointer.
Right, well, I thought young Miss Fry might have stolen my thunder somewhat on this one, but I thought I'd have a crack at one of the difficult handicaps on the card, which there are 3 on Sunday and was it 2 on Saturday. The one on Saturday at 3 o'clock, which we'll come to later, looks particularly impossible, but I do have some interest in that from earlier in the season. But we'll go to the 3:20 at Leopardstown on Sunday. And I think young Miss Fry has said everything that I probably need to say about this horse. I know the way you're thinking. I think she's coming up quite well in her missive today. Good to hear from her, as usual. Looks absolutely lobbed in off 144, doesn't it? Really?
Yep.
I mean, there are 5 Willie Mullins horses in here, which you've got to be frightened of. Probably at least one meeting of the waters, and there might be another lurker or 2 in here, but you've only got to watch this one's race last time out when 3rd of 5 were, I can only say, tenderly handled. Otherwise we don't get the lawyers onto us, do we? No. And in Grade 1 company last time out, I mean, you need to be Stevie Wonder not to have worked out that it's pretty obvious this one's being brought along with handicaps in mind. As Catherine said, a mark of 144 leaves plenty of wiggle room. And I'll have a point on I know the way you're thinking. I hate those names where they run them all together. But
6-1 generally available. And a nice price indeed. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. Good start, Andy. Nev, I'll come to you for your 1-pointer.
Not only good racing at Leopardstown, but there's pretty good racing over the weekend at Musselburgh with their Cheltenham trials. And the card tomorrow is really competitive. That my 3rd best bet over the weekend is a horse that has been around a while, but I do think he's got some more improvement in him over hurdles. He's only been running over hurdles, far less times than he has on the flat, and his flat form was taken off of late. He ran a good second at Newcastle not so long ago, I think less than a fortnight ago. Bashful in the 4:35 at Musselburgh. He finished second off a rating of 80 on the flat. All right, he's never going to be as good over the jumps as he is on the flat. I think the reason being is that he barely gets further than 10 furlongs. So he always has to have exaggerated weighting tactics. But he gets off a mark of 93. I think the drying ground at Musselburgh will help him enormously. And it's not the strongest of handicaps. When you look at some of the horses that have to concede him weight, there's some raw novices that are giving him weight. And Conor O'Farrell's only just come back, which, all right, some people might say is a negative because he might be a bit rusty, but I don't think there's any finer northern hold-up jockey than Conor O'Farrell, and Bashful, who will be dropped in for sure. If he gives himself a chance and doesn't pull like mad, but he has been known to do that, if he gives himself a chance, I think he's got a right good chance. But I am a little bit concerned about his price. I've noticed that he's about 7-2, which wouldn't be enough for me.
100-30, Nev, is the price available, which is general, of course, for your 1-point win. Would you like Betfair SP or 100-30?
Could I have Betfair SP but no premium charge deducted?
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, of course you can have that. The standard 2% commission deduction for Nev on Betfair SP for Bashful. He thinks that'll be bigger than 100 to 30 on offer right now. John, coming to you for your 1 pointer.
Unsurprisingly, I'm off to Weatherby.
Well, no,
I'd have thought Kempton or
Yes, you can hear the gasps from here. 132. Albert's back. This isn't a yard I generally tip anything from, but I couldn't resist this one. This is a hold-up horse, and I think the rest of these can be knocking spots off each other from some way out, actually. Pearson Map's got loads going forward here and having a dig, so I think this will favour him. His last 2 runs have favoured the front end, while he's probably run better than first impressions would suggest. He's also come down in the rating. And 3 runs back, the winner of that race went up 12 and still finished 4th next time. So he's in better nick than his form figures indicate, I would suggest. The yard's gotten 54% running to form at the moment. And I think this horse offers a bit of value, shall we say. 1 point win.
14 to 1, John. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Perfectly okay. Okay, I'll finish the round off. Lovely tip, John, at a nice price there at Weatherby. I go to Leopardstown on the Sunday in the 350 race. I am very keen on one here. Price has been cut somewhat, which is a bit disappointing. I think I'm still prepared to go at the prices of 14 to 1 about Conyers Hill there in the big 2 mile handicap hurdle. This horse has been brought along lovely, I think, by connections. I think he's a lot better than 123. I also think that the booking of Cornerstone Walsh is a very positive booking, given that he's been professionally ridden. Cornerstone Walsh, of course, takes off the £5. Now, the race wasn't run to suit at Leopardstown last time when he was held up. Very slow fractions. The time before that, ran 3rd behind Common Practice in a very valuable Fairy House handicap hurdle. Again, held up in last, given a lot to do. I think Conyers Hill is a very progressive horse. Of course, in the Brave Inca colours, I believe. If I've got that wrong, I apologise, but it looks like Brave Inca colours to me. But yeah, so Conyers Hill for me at 14 to 1 generally available. 1 point win. Very progressive horse and a lot better than 123. He will finish the season a lot higher on that. So a nice start from me at 14s. Right, swing it back to you, John, for the 2 point round.
Right. Well, you don't have to swing it so far because I'm going in the same race that you just mentioned.
Right. Good stuff.
Unfortunately, we're not on the same page. People that listen regularly may remember 2 or 3 weeks ago, Attaboy Charlie.
Yes.
He's gone up 12 for the win last time, but in all honesty, I think he had any amount in hand rather than just the 12. He sat last in what wasn't a strongly run race early on. He made his ground up in probably the quickest part of the race when they were turning in, and he made his ground up wide. In actual fact, he probably got there a bit soon and had to battle then to hold them off. I think this is a 140 sort of horse myself.
Yeah.
The price is just got enough juice in it, I think, so I think he can win again. 2 points win.
Lovely. 2 points win for John Attaboy Charlie, 7-1 with Entain. I know John was very keen on this when it won the last day. Please, God, there's no money flying about. It's none of my money. Please, God. Yes, Attaboy Charlie for John. Lovely start for you, John, on your 2 pointer. And like I said, I concur with you that I think he is still very well handicapped. Okay, Neville Ender, please, your 2 pointer.
Well, I'm really keen on my 2 pointer, and we're going to Leopardstown in the 120 race. There's only 6 declared for this novices hurdle, but I've just checked the betting, and my selection is second favourite, which I'm rather surprised at. I think she should be favourite. Jatara has done nothing but improve the whole season. She was a very experienced novice to start the season with, and she's just taken off. Her last 3 victories have been by a minimum of 6 lengths, and her last run, she beat a mare called Pink in the Park by 7.5 lengths. All right, Pink in the Park is not a genuine Grade 1 horse, but she is extremely consistent at Grade 2 and Grade 3 level. The fourth horse that day was Tell Me Something Girl, who gave Zarek the Brave a fright earlier in the week, and Pink in the Park has subsequently, who finished second to her, has run well since. Jitara, you could argue that maybe the trip could be a question mark, but if you look at all the runs, she seems to be running through the line very strongly in all the races. She has got an extra couple of furlongs to contend with, but I actually believe that this mare should be favourite, and it's quite possible she could start favourite. If you look at the dangers, well, there's a battalion of Mullins horses. He's got 4 of the 6, which is crazy, but he's got the probable danger to her in Predator's Gold, who has come on the back of just a maiden hurdle win to win a Grade 1 race at Leopardstown over Christmas. But Caldwell Potter, he finished second to Caldwell Potter. There is question marks as to how good that future champions novices hurdle was, because Caldwell Potter had come there on the back of a maiden victory himself, and he's light on experience, his Predator's Gold. I didn't think Glynn's form was anything special. He won last time out, but they were only 4. And then you're looking further back to I Will Be Bay, who won a soft, I thought was an ordinary race last time out. And at the weights, this mare gets £7. I think she should be favourite. I'm very keen on Jitara, and I don't see any reason why she wouldn't get 2 miles 6.5.
3-1 for you, Nev.
Very good.
Jitara with the mare's allowance. We'll come on to that race later on. Lovely 2-point selection. Before we come to Andy to finish the round, the 3 o'clock race on Sunday is where I'm going for my 1-point split bet. In fact, is it? No, it's Saturday. I don't know what day it is. It's like the BHA. Look at the calendar 3 times, you'll eventually know what day it is in High Holborn. Yeah, 3 o'clock Leopardstown, and it is Saturday, not Sunday. Don't be a day late on mine. So Canal End is the 1-point win at 13-2 with Entain. Obviously a JP handicap project. Shit very well last time and a very valuable Navan handicap. I think this is probably being targeted for Canal End, and I see nothing wrong with the 13-2. Also, as well, at an absolutely enormous price, 33-1. Double carpet. Black Bamboo, John. You love Black Bamboo.
Aye.
Is it something that Mush, you like YouTube's videos you like? Does he cook Black Bamboo? Oh,
yeah, he'll cook anything. He'll eat anything.
The giant salamander today.
There was a giant salamander. He's had a duck throat, sheep's eyes, you name it.
His name again?
Uncle Rural Gourmet. He's a YouTube legend. How to cook anything.
But man, the dog's gone missing today. I think they've had the dog on the quiet.
Indeed. Anyway, Black Bamboo's case is, I think, quite simple. It finished 6th, John, behind Attaboy Charlie. He raced for me, right? And it weren't off. They didn't knock this about at all. You could see he's had training problems because obviously gaps between races. And I mean, what is it? 7 years old. It's had 9 starts.
Yeah.
So they've had their issues. But this is an horse where when it won its bumper, they were going for the champion bumper. They thought that much of it. It's a kind of thing where this horse has got a lot of ability. And the 3rd at Galway last summer, I think it was, behind High Class Hero, which is rated, 140 something. Tagman, the 2nd horse, is rated 135, ran 3rd to Encanto Bruno at Cheltenham. What marker's Big Black Bamboo got? 121. Absolutely thrown in. 1-point win 33s. General. Get on. And that's the 2 for me. Canal End and Black Bamboo. Andy.
We're going to Musselburgh, who staged their first ever 100k race. 52 bags for the winner. The Edinburgh National. I ask this question every week.
John loves the National.
How many? I put it in especially for John, because how many of these? I'm going to go through and count out how many of these buggers there are soon, because there must be 20 odd now. Anyhow, it's not a bad race. The last year's winners in it, Magnus Sam, he's up £4. They'll go round. They must have a bell on this because they'll be round about 4 times at Musselburgh. There's some strong stayers in this, and I like the 2 Irish runners in it, Peaches and Cream and Temptation in Milan. Peaches and Cream from the Gavin Cromwell stable got an awful ride last time out, if you remember, in a race that he actually won with Melina Girl. But it was that ride at Cheltenham where I'm not sure the lad. Well, I'm not sure he was just inexperienced, but he just cocked it up, didn't he? To be honest with you, they've got a very good £3 conditional this time out in Ben Harvey on board. So I'll certainly be having a 1 point on Peaches and Cream, and the other one is from the shrewd Mr. Burns stable and Temptation in Milan. If you watch the 3 races he's had this year, I don't think the thing's been off a yard, to be quite honest with you. They've all been over the wrong ground. 25 to 1 chance at Leopardstown over Christmas. Inadequate test. Didn't run too badly. He'll like the better ground. Longer trip. This looks a bit of a plot, and I can't leave him out of calculation. So a point on each on the 2 Irish runners, Peaches and Cream and Temptation in Milan.
Good stuff, mate. 8 to 1 Temptation in Milan, 4 to 1 with Bet365.
That'll do nicely.
And entered Peaches and Cream for Andy. Good stuff, mate. Right, that's finished the 2-point round. The 3-point round, I'll kick us off. And it's a klaxon. Of course it is. Yeah, Sunday it is. Going with Mr. Richmond.
No.
And obviously Fry.
Well, that's more, isn't it? And that fog on.
It is, because Fry's tipped this on Patreon. So yeah, absolutely. So I know the way you're thinking. For the same reasons that Fry's mentioned there, Andy's mentioned already. Limerick, I keep watching back and I start laughing. It's hilarious. How they get away with it, I don't know. And we just hope that this is the target for the green and gold master of Martinstown. I'm hoping that it is, because if it is, I think he'll win. I really do. I don't think there's anything else as well handicapped as this in the race. So very confident at 6 to 1 for a 3-point on the nose and a klaxon with Mr. Naps King, Andy Richmond. Good start to the round. Devil Ender.
Well, I'm taking Andy with one in the long distance chase at Musselburgh Banker over the weekend. And it's a horse that it is the last chance for him. But I do think that everything is right come tomorrow at 2:15. The top weight, Enrillo, is a horse that's had very little racing over the past 24 months or so, since he won the what used to be the Whitbread, the Bet365 chase. So we know one thing about him is that he stays extremely well. He stays at least 3 mile 5. There would be a question mark against some of these whether they will truly see out the trip. Well, I think Musselburgh obviously is an easy. This horse Enrillo has run round Kempton Park and run very well around Kempton as well, which wouldn't be massively dissimilar. He's been slipping down the weights. This is by far the easiest opportunity he's had. I think maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, they were planning just to keep him for one race to try and win the Whitbread race at Sandown. But I think as he's getting older, the opportunities seem to be less and less for him, and they're targeting slightly easier grade. Paul Nicholls' record at Musselburgh is phenomenal when he sends them up over this particular 2-day meeting. And I do like the jockey booking. All right, he doesn't get that many rides, Angus Chalida, but he does ride this horse mostly. So he's ridden him 2 out of the last 4 times, or last 3 times. I also read that, I think it was a time form, it might have been on the Betfair site, said that they didn't think he showed very much at Wincanton last time out, but in all honesty, he was only beaten 10 lengths and on ground that wouldn't have suited him, and he's been given a couple of pounds back from the handicap, so 135. I think if the ground remains good or good to soft, because this is what he wants. He doesn't want soft ground. He wants genuinely good or just slightly good to soft ground. I think he's got an exceptional chance, and I'm not even going to go each way. I'm going to go 3 points win Enrillo, and I'll be backing him myself as well.
Yeah, that a great case. 12 to 1 available generally, and that, of course. Are you going each way on the nose, Nev?
On the nose.
On the nose, of course. Yeah. 3 points on the nose at 12s. This is what you get on this show. No messing. Some absolutely corking tips and good reasoning.
Call the real wanker, Lee.
No. Each way wankering from you. Never. I never do. Never ever do. You are a sound judge, and you make a sound case for that. With, of course, Angus Chaleda, who's been claiming for the last 17 years, because of course he only rides for Pumpkin. I think it's a waste of a talent. I think the lad should have been out there, but he obviously they might be ordering Coke and hookers for him back at Ditchy. Who knows? But 12-1 for Enrilo for Nev for his big bet. What a tip that is. 3 points on the nose. Andy going head to head in that, of course. Andy Richmond, your best.
Right, we're going to go to the David Bowie handicap at Sandown, the Heroes. One for music fans there. Boom. I am very, very keen on Ed Keeper, but there's one other horse I'm frightened of, so I'm going to go split the 3 points 2 and 1. The one I'm really keen on is obviously Ed Keeper. Looks a really progressive horse. This he was absolutely gagging up last time out at Cheltenham off a mark of a mark of 138, and he still looks well handicapped here. His win at 3 miles at Newbury looked a strong piece of form at the time. The run before that on his seasonal return, again, another strong piece of form. To all intents and purposes, I think he would have won last time out, apart from bungling the last. He still looked a bit inexperienced coming up the hill. He wasn't beaten that far in the end by a couple of decent sorts in Butch and My Bobby Dazzler. I think he has to be a leading candidate here. But the one I'm a little bit frightened of is, let's get the pronunciation right, is Skamakliath. I've listened to about 3 different commentators and they all pronounced it the same way as that. So before anybody writes in or rings in, that was the way it was from the Harry Durham yard. I mean, the last 2 months, he's been really banging the winners home. No surprise, really, because he's a pretty decent young trainer. I think he's had 15 winners from 50 runners in the last couple of months. Very strong in the past week. This horse has got some strong form as well, Skamakliath. He just failed to win back-to-back Ascot Novice Handicap hurdles he got beaten by a horse called Top Cloud, who was completing his 4th win of the season. The 5th has come out and won out of that. Transmission, who was 3rd, who reopposes here with the rodeo man on Joe Anderson. If you haven't seen his recovery at Plumpton when Transmission won, go and take a look at it. It was absolutely brilliant. But Skamakliath, I think, is a good sort. The yard's in really good form at the moment. So I'll have a couple of points on Ed Keeper, who I do think is graded quality. I think he's one horse in this race. If you're going to get out of handicaps, he's the one who will do it. 2 points Ed Keeper and a point on Skamakliath.
8-1 for Andy for Skamakliath. That's William Hill and Denise. 4-1 General Ed Keeper. 2 point side of the 3 point bet. Good stuff, Andy. John finishes off with your max.
It's a wonderful time of year, this, isn't it? You know, you go for a walk in a crisp, cold morning with the dogs. Leaves are crunching under your feet. You come back in. There's a nourishing pan of stew bubbling away on the stove. And there's a fucking national every other day.
You love it now.
Does that mean you're going to have a tip in it, John?
Yes.
Oh,
and you might as well get your asthmatic horse out now, because I'm siding with you.
Oh.
Back in November 2022, Enrilo was going to hack up in the Frodon race, where I tell you, Ray had an absolute wet your knickers party over Bryony winning on the Frodon. He was on a mark of 143 that day, made a mess of the 4th last, and he fell badly. It was a nasty fall. After that, his comeback confidence booster was a nothing effort on ground he didn't like, and he was pulled up. Kempton was too sharp for him next time, and he was out of his comfort zone too early. Then he fell in the Whitbread, and his comeback run again on ground he didn't like in October was more than encouraging. He's been kept off shit winter ground this time, unlike previous years, avoiding bollocks like the Welsh National, and here we are in the Edinburgh National. Mm-hmm. And for me, he's absolutely lobbed in here off 135 with Chaleda taking 5 off. 3 points win, no fucking messing.
Oh, look at this confidence. I love it, love it, love it, love it. John and Nev. This is amazing. 12-1. Yeah, I love it, loving this. The Iron Brew National. Absolutely
Aye.
loving this. Yeah, right. Enrilla, brilliant. Yeah, we move on, but that was just such a brilliant tipping round. Cheers, gentlemen. Some great cases made. If we don't get the Iron Brew National winner, we're rubbish, aren't we? Really? Some great cases made by all parties. Right, okay. So the only race we're covering on the Saturday is to give Irish racing the privilege this weekend on our podcast is the Scilly Isles Novice Chase, the 235 Sandown, the Grade 1 affair. A very it's competitive enough. It's quite a nice little Grade 1, in fairness, for our level. It might not make Irish people watch it, but there we go. What's our thoughts on the Scilly Isles? John, I'm going to come to you first. Are you any view on this?
The Irish should run this in the ambulance room, wouldn't they? I thought the favourite would quite possibly monster these.
Yep.
I think it ran into a proper one last time, didn't it? You know, there's nothing of that calibre here. The win first time up beat the bottom one, didn't he? The bottom one had the advantage of experience. As I said, I don't think Hermes Dallon's done an awful lot wrong. Would I want to back him at the price? Possibly not, but I wouldn't be wanting to back against him.
For me, though, has that run broken him? Because I thought that
Two's
was
come out of that and not run well, haven't they? But that was a bit sooner. I think he's had long enough, and if he's going to be all right, you know, I mean, if not, you know, get the gun out because he's had it.
But Le Patron, Sandown specialist, you know, like love Sandown, you know, the Jelly Deal gang of the Brighton Mafia.
The Ginger Hunter stayed at Sandown this week, and he said he loved it as well. He went to the Giggling Squid restaurant. He said it was fantastic. So
the Giggling Squid.
Yeah, there's a plug to the Giggling Squid anyway.
Le Patron, I felt, might beat Hermes. Hermes, I fancy to bounce after that. Nev and Andy, any views?
I think I'd probably row in with John, actually, to be honest with you. Again, I'd sort of echo his views, really. I wouldn't want to back it at that price, but I think he might get the race run to suit because Nickelback's got one way of going, and that's forward. The Patron likes to go forward. Jello is not exactly, or J-Lo is not exactly backward in coming forward either, and I think he can just sit off them. I like Colonel Harry as a horse, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by his efforts last time out in beating a thorough pig at Wetherby. I think he's probably more one for sort of handy. I could see him running well. I can see him turning into a decent handicapper, Colonel Harry, and it's a horse I like. But I just think they could go a bit mad up front. Hermes Allen sits behind them and picks them off here.
I think they'll scratch Colonel Harry. I think the ground's quickened up. I think he wants really soft ground. So
also likely, but I can't really see him at this level.
Well, didn't they say somewhere it was going to ride Deader Than Dillinger tomorrow at Sandown?
Well, might do. I mean, the win today, you know, around various places.
Somebody was on about it on one of the plethora of podcasts I've listened to.
Put some water on it. Put some water.
Yeah, I'm sure they would if they could. Nev, views?
There's so little between them on official figures. In fact, Nickelback is probably going to set the race up for everything, and he's only 4 or 5 pounds behind the highest rated. He's a real good jumper, and I could see him actually running very well, Nickelback, but probably won't be good enough. What everybody has said is probably right. Hermes Allen is the best in the race. Yes. I think he's the best in the race. But would I want to be backing him at evens or shorter? Absolutely not. I thought he probably got outstayed last time at Kempton. Les Francais looked like a freak and probably is the next Quarto star. And Hermes Allen was clearly the second best that day. He did nothing wrong. He jumped well at Newbury. I think Sandown will suit him absolutely perfectly because he looks like he wants a stiff 2.5 miles. The dangers, well, Colonel Harry would probably have got beaten at Wetherby last time. I think it's fair to say, as the Kim Bailey horse threw his chance away. DeGello's done nothing wrong. He was unlucky to get bumped, and then he fell at Lingfield. And Le Patron, he seemed to show massive improvement last time. Whether he's capable of running up to his rating of 150, and he'll have to do that, then I'm not sure. But I think Hermes Allen's the probable winner. I think he's the most likely winner, but I'm not absolutely bowled over by the price. I think he is too short at evens.
No, some good comments there, and I probably agree with everything that's said, really. Intriguing race, anyway. 120 Leopardstown for the start of the DRF weekend. Predators Gold. Before I start us off on this race, I'd love to read John's note out. John's Patreon notebook, which is quite famous every week. On Predators Gold, he says, big raw looking fucker and has a fair old engine. Took a fair while to respond to his rider's urgings. He looks fucking mustard.
Don't find that in time form, do you?
John, you should write the Racing Post comments.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd be cheap. It's cheaper than the Racing Post, isn't it? Now with their 25%.
Considerably.
Let's go on to this race. I agree with Nev, right? Jatara was close to making my 3 for another klaxon because, right, she gets £7 from Predators Gold, who I think is quite inexperienced. The
Big
£7 there. Yes, big, exactly. You've said it, right? So that means Predators has got to run on official handicap ratings. Predators has got to run to 150 plus to beat her. That's Cheltenham proper grade 1. That wins you nearly a Ballymore.
Wins your bully star prize, doesn't it?
It did.
Look what you could have won.
It is. It's like when he's doing spelling at bottom of the page and walking across bottom of the screen, you know.
You won a kitchen.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Jatara for me in this. Any views here, chaps?
It's spelling you want.
Yeah.
I think Jatara sets the standard.
So that's 3 votes for Jatara.
Whatever beats Jatara wins this, I can tell you, because she's pretty well in here, isn't she?
Yeah, the £7
price.
there.
I agree with Nev's earlier comments that she's probably a little bit overpriced here.
Indeed. We move on to the 150, which is the McCann FitzGerald Spring Juvenile Hurdle. Storm Heart, Nevis Tarot favourite. Leng again.
Got me notes here.
Yeah, slaughtered opposition, very impressive. Will be hard to beat in the Triumph. He's backed Storm Heart for the Triumph, haven't you, John?
I have, yes.
Yep, 7-1.
No, well, 10-1. I got Chris Poe.
Oh, fucking hell! Here we go. I agree. Storm Heart wins this. 7-4 is big for me.
I thought it was very impressive on Debut.
7-4, I like. Nev, Andy.
You got to find it. Well, it's time for Mullins to find out where he sits with his juvenile hurdlers, isn't it? And the rest of us probably. I don't really have I'll do a Nick Davis on this and say no. It's not a race. It's not a race I'm going to be betting in. Let's put it that way. I'm happy to watch.
Yeah, Nev.
It's difficult, isn't it, with these once raced, inexperienced juveniles, and just to know how good they are. Stormheart's win was very impressive, and he won by 20 plus lengths, and I think it took the jockey and the trainer by surprise just how good he was, and he showed a rapid turn of foot when he was asked to quicken. But you know, winning a maiden juvenile and winning in Grade 1 company are poles apart. And who knows how good other Mullins as likely race horses are? It could be that Stormheart might turn out to be only 4th best. You just don't know, do you? And to back him at such short odds, I don't know what price he is, but I'm assuming, looking at the betting here, is 11-8 on the Racing Post website. I'm assuming he's going to be short. I wouldn't want to back him, but you couldn't knock his performance. But I wouldn't want to back against him either.
No, 7-4, I think is value to find out personally. 225, the Irish Arkle. Marine National, this is the blogger bet. I mean, it can't get beat, can it? I mean, Facile Vega, 2 miles, no good to that horse. Further over fences. And Marine National, I think after the race, John, me and you just said, well, that's the Arkle done, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, from a betting perspective, really, if there'd been 8 runners in this, I'd have been all over found a 58 weighs 8.
Yeah.
I think you'll beat Facile Vega again.
I think he's a certainty. I genuinely think the same performance
Yeah.
will suffice. I say there's a shade of value in 4-9. I know there's people that don't like odds on, but I think there's a shade of value. Andy and Nev, sorry, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Marine National, since he stepped up into graded company, has looked invincible, and his win at Cheltenham was over. Festial Vega was as good as it gets. But, we're over fences this time, and Festial Vega is beginning to get a reputation as being a bit inconsistent now. And although he was last of 4 last time, he wasn't beaten that far, but it was still disappointing. I think I wouldn't want to oppose Marine National, but like I said in comments on in an earlier race, I wouldn't want to back him at that price, because it is a red hot race for a horse that's only jumped, I don't know, 12 fences in public before taking on the cream of the 2 milers. I'm not sure I want to be taking a short price, but he's there to enjoy and to watch, and it might well be the Arkle winner. I think he's even odds on for the Arkle now, isn't he? But he's there to enjoy, and for me, he's not a betting proposition.
Yeah. And they
I think I'd probably rather try and fiddle around and maybe back found a 50 in the place markets. That's about it. But I do think, it's a bit like if you could put him almost in the same camp as Marine National and a couple of others. They're sort of prices that you wouldn't necessarily want to lay, but do you want to back them at that price? I'm sure people will be putting them together in, like I said earlier, putting these, Marine National in with a few shorties from the Mullins yard. But there's always that sort of thing. It's a bit like O'Brien on the flat, isn't it? When he's got the battalions in, how often have we seen the short one get done and the second, third, fourth, or even fifth string win? So I still think the safer bet, if you want a Mullins to have a good weekend, is the 5 to 6 over 7.5 winners. But that's where I would be.
Yeah, I think the danger with Mullins here as well. He was in the longer race. To me, they're going to rag the Quebec thing to draw the stamina out of the favourites. And 9 times out of 10, when they do tricks like that, they end up getting themselves out the comfort zone and finish out the back of the telly.
It doesn't work, does it?
And that's why I think that makes Founder 50 a good option to chase the favourite up.
This is the race, isn't it, that Gallic Warrior was due to run it?
Yeah, they've switched him now.
Yeah, the older voice.
Why do you think they've changed their mind? Do you think they're scared shitless of taking on this route of?
Apparently, Mullins said that Festial Vega did a really good piece of work, which convinced him to keep him at 2 miles.
What's a load of rubbish. 3 o'clock, we move on. It's the listed handicap hurdle. I'll stay out of this one because I've tipped Black Bamboo. Who doesn't like Black Bamboo? And Canal End. So, any of you here, chaps?
I've got plenty of views.
Ooh, go.
Well, I've got to have plenty of views because there's two of my
Panda,
five to follow were in there.
Yes, Panda Boy.
Right. So I have already, before we get the trumpets out, I've already backed Panda Boy for the Grand National. So I'll be hovering again over the price for him, hoping that he runs well here, because he's around 33.40s, and if he runs well here, I can see him being quite shortish for the National. It's not going to be favourite, but I can see him running well in that after he's 5th in the Irish version last year. And Canal End would be the other one. He nearly made the shortlist, so we'd have had another Claxon bet. Like you, Lee, you couldn't miss him last time out from way off. He did the best of those from off the pace at Navan last time out. He'd run well the time before as well. So he would certainly be one. And the other one I'll throw in the mix is a horse called Nine Graces. Now, I know that Catherine made a good case for the Ted Walsh horse in here, but Nine Graces ran in the same race, last time out in the Pertemps qualifier. It's actually always been a really good pointer to the final, that. Last year's winner, Good Time Johnny, came out of that race. There was a smaller field this year. The Ted Walsh horse, whose name I'm going to mangle now, Gaoth Queel, I think it is sure to attract attention. But I think the third home, Nine Graces, is certainly one that you want to keep on. Held up, kept wide the entire race. That race, she looks progressive sort. I just thought she was the sort of be real. I had her marked down for the Temps final. I'm actually quite surprised they're running her here, but I presume they need to get a run into her. I think she's one that you can certainly keep an eye on there. So it might be having to play 2 or 3 in that, including the old Black Bamboo. But I certainly keep a close eye on Panda Boy for a good run. For those of you who want a national bet, and Canal End and 9 Graces are the other 2 I'll certainly throw into the mix.
Nev, John?
I quite like yours, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought that it was nibbled when the entries first came out. I thought that's one to keep an eye on, and I'll definitely row in with you, I think.
Good stuff. Nev?
Well, Ted Walsh's horses seem to have... Well, it's a very unusual thing to say, but Ted Walsh's horses are in form. He seems to be having a good run with his small string at the moment. This horse of his, which runs in Michael Ryan's colours, Gayo, Chul, whatever, has done nothing but improve since they've stepped her up in trip, and she put up her best performance last time when winning over course and distance. I think he could probably do worse. She travels well, so a good strong pace, which will no doubt will be exactly what she wants. And if she's got a few pounds in hand, she'll win. If she hasn't, then she won't. But you're gonna have to be probably at least £7 or £8, maybe even more, better than your handicap mark to win this. But I think I'd side with Goff Chul on this occasion, but I'm not really very confident.
Good stuff, mate. 335 is the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup. And of course, Galopin de Champs heads the market as a very short price favourite, and rightly so. Probably wins this, given Faster Slow really beat Galopin de Champs with a... I don't know what that ride was, reappearance, to be honest, on Galopin de Champs. I think Galopin de Champs wins. Sorry, it's boring, but that's how it is. Turns up and wins, doesn't it, chaps?
I hope Conflated nicks it from the front, and then they all go to Cheltenham with loads of doubts.
Well, that's a scenario. This is what happens in these trials.
Well, it could be messy, couldn't it? And then if they've all got excuses and that going to Cheltenham, it'll liven it up a bit. If Galopin de Champs wins by half the track, Gold Cup's going to look a foregone conclusion, isn't it? We don't. Nobody wants.
And Nev's going to say an horse rate 180 and the £12 clear at 4-9, Nev.
We've been speaking about Marine Nationale and 1 or 2 others earlier on. And if I was backing a horse at 4-9, I would rather back Galopin de Champs 4-9 than Marine Nationale. Not because I don't like Marine Nationale, but I do think that Galopin de Champs is more solid. And his performance at Leopardstown over Christmas was breathtaking. Whether it flatters him, who knows? It possibly does a little bit, because he won by so far from the best that the Irish can offer. But there isn't a great deal of opposition for him. I.N.H Maximus and Conflated can hardly be considered to be within a stone of his form. And Fast or Slow has done nothing wrong, but has had to battle really hard when he has able to beat Galopin de Champs. If the Christmas Galopin de Champs turns up, then he'll win, won't he? He's just in a different league to anything.
Andy, anything to add?
Not really. That's just the sort of, if he turns up in the right mode, he'll probably win this, won't he? I like Fast or Slow as a horse, but it's got it all. It's probably got a fair bit to do here. Probably the bigger danger of what's in front of him than what's behind him for cliche time.
410 is the Ryanair handicap chase. Path Through heads the market with Solness of the Baby Jerseys. I will lead us off here with a 25 perk. Rebel Gold. Connor Stone-Walsh again, who I particularly like as a national jockey claiming 5, takes the mount on a front runner that ran in this race last year, finished 5th to final orders, only got beat 6 lengths. When you look at final orders, he's sort of short in the betting, probably not in as good a form. I like a front runner on this track, and I think if you, Andy, you like your trades. Rebel Gold, I think will trade nicely at big prices.
Could well do, couldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 25. I think that's a serious price. He's 11, but I don't think it's a great race in depth, to be honest. Views, chaps?
Still, the booking of James Reevely for Madara was interesting for the one British trained runner we can find on the entire card for Sophie Leach. Didn't run badly, didn't. I mean, she won at... he won at Cheltenham last time out. Quite an interesting jockey book, isn't it? don't know. Just be the
Just
one.
be the
That's
one-
the one
that
that
sort of
stands
stands
out for me. And then we'll see what our Patreon man from Ireland writes in the morning.
Indeed.
Follow him in.
Indeed. Nev, any of you here?
Couldn't really see any angles, to be honest. Madara was as maybe that's as good as he is at when he won last time. Maybe he's got a little bit more improvement. He's only a 5-year-old. James Reevely did seem to ride a lot for Sophie Leach in France over the past 12 months when she's had runners over there. So I don't think it's an absolute knockout booking, but I think it's certainly worth bearing in mind. I couldn't really offer anything because it looks such a close-knit handicap. I thought Final Orders is probably at the top of his mark now, 146. I don't think he's very big either to be coming that kind of weight. I just couldn't find anything that I would want to be with, and it's a race that I'll happily sit out.
The horse that Madara beat in Excelsior's Dio runs at Sandown tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they need to get the handicap mark up for that to get it into anything. It looks one of his for the Grand Annual, and it does run against the absolute one that you do not want to be backing at short prices tomorrow. we all know your friend of mine, Hunter's. What's the name of the horse? I've got it right in front of me here. Harper's Brook. Who's been done at 101 twice in his last 3 runs. The risk reward ratio there is certainly on the side of laying him in running at short prices and not backing him, because he looks a thorough pig.
Indeed. John, your thoughts on this?
I'm quite happy to rock along with your selection and trade out. I did think that the favourite wanted taking on anywhere past the road on. It's a really good jumper.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't understand why that's fab, to be honest. I'd rather back Solness, I think. There we go. Right, so we move on to the final race on Saturday, which is the bumper, the Grade 2 bumper. A Dream to Share. This obviously can't jump hurdles.
Yeah, bumpers shit, aren't they? Huh?
I mean, what is all this about? He said, what? It's a champion bumper winner. It's won all its 5 bumper starts.
He's going for the hard way.
It's 6-year-old. This is the... I scratched my head at this. It's by Muhara out of a Galileo mare. This should be running on the flat. I know. I know, but on the Nev. This might be Group 3, Group 2, Group 1 on the flat.
Hard way cars, tell you.
I mean, this is terrible. This is scandalous. Obviously, it can't jump, because if it could jump, they aren't fucking about in races like this. A Dream to Share is a nap bet. It just wins because it's a superior speed flat horse. Neverlander. You
have to ask yourself, why haven't we seen it for so long? I think the probable reason behind it not jumping hurdles this season is because if they've only got it ready now, then it's leaving it very late for Cheltenham, isn't it? Which of course is JP McManus's ultimate. That's where all these horses are aimed at. So they are going to just stay the bumper route. But it is bizarre because the chances are he's going to be 7 by the time he starts jumping hurdles in graded races. For me, I'd question why we haven't seen him, and I think in this day and age where you're able to lay horses, I think if I could lay him at short odds, I think I would, because I think that he has had something that's enough to put a massive question mark against his well-being. For me, that's just me being rather cynical about it, but I wouldn't dream of backing him. Absolutely not at short odds.
Interesting. Andy, John, thoughts?
I don't think he should be allowed to run.
He's won too many, John.
Well, I mean, when you win bumpers and win a champion bumper thing at the end of the season, I think that should be it for bumpers.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what happens next? He wins 3 champion bumpers at Cheltenham. We're all going red rum on him.
Can you do that?
I don't know. It's out the cock, isn't it?
I don't think he can run. I don't think he can run in it.
No.
I'd have to check. I mean, this race is a good pointer to the champion bumper because 3 winners have come out of it. 3 winners of the champion bumper have come out of it.
Well, we know there's one in it tomorrow, don't we?
Well, yeah, the second Fab's 7 years old.
Yeah, Redemption Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's had more problems than Alex Higgins, hasn't it?
In this country, you can only run in 3 bumpers now. And
Yeah.
unless you're able to run in a graded or a listed bumper, you can only run in 3 bumpers. I don't think he would be allowed to run in more than 2 champion bumpers, but I've never even heard of anybody winning 2 champion bumpers. So I don't know, but you'd be very concerned as to why we haven't seen him and he's reappearing in a bumper.
Look, better kick on time. Sunday, 12:40. He's Paddy Mullins' mare's handicap hurdle. Foxy Girl, his favourite, and sadly, they've all spotted it, haven't they? The unlucky run last time where she got blocked off.
Tragedy, this, isn't it?
Yeah, she got blocked off 47 times under the boat race winner Rachel Blackmore and World Masters snooker winner Rachel Blackmore. But yeah, it's quite a travesty that they've found it. They found the price. Yeah, we're all bored at 7-2.
For a bit of 7-1, this. I was going to go yee-haw MC Chapman on it.
No, you're not going to get that.
No.
No. And if you go through every runner in the race, there is not one as well handicapped as this. The right horse, it's the right bet. Sadly, it's been totally found, and 7-2 is about right. Nev, anything to add? Andy, anything to add?
No, you've summed it up succinctly.
Met loads of trouble last time and time before.
Yeah.
Probably win, but you never know. Can meet trouble in running, can't they?
Yeah. The 110 is the big novice chase there on the Sunday over the extended 2 mile 5 furlongs there. This is my nap of the weekend taking on Gaelic Warrior. I really doubt this horse's ability to run Leopardstown that well. I know it's won at this course, but with the chase track, this is exacerbated by the 2 fences where the one on the far side, you lose a lot of ground if you jump to the right-hand side. There's another fence as well that takes you out the equation. This is a very difficult track if you're going to start displaying jumping right-handed traits, which, of course, Gaelic Warrior has done. And he's been very impressive at places like Limerick, Punchestown, etc., but not so much left-handed. And I think Factor File's probably the one. Grange Clare West has got a serious engine, and like Nev said at the start of the show, Andy said, don't worry about Mullins' second and third strings. They're there to win. Grange Clare West got an engine. I'm saying Gaelic Warrior is the one to be against. Views here, chaps.
I like Factor File.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of value against the file.
Yep. Nev, Andy?
I'd row in with you, Lee, because I'd be. This was the one that I thought where if you were going to string the Mullins favourites together, this is certainly one, and there's one or two others as well where you're starting to think, this could get. I wasn't that impressed with him last time out, to be honest with you, and I think if you're not a natural layer, then why not do the old Raymond van Barneveld and Dutch the. Grange Clare West and Factor File.
That makes financial sense.
Yeah.
Big financial sense. Yeah, the only 2 likely winners.
Yeah.
Nev?
Incredible, isn't it? You've got Factor File, Gaelic Warrior, and Grange Clare West, who potentially are all genuine performers, yet he's having to run all 3 in the same race, it must be annoying for the trainer. Grange Clare West travelled like a champion last time and quickened up really well, but that was 3 miles. So slightly shorter trip might be against him. Factor File, lightly raced and could be anything. There's value to be had, and it'd be a terrible thing to maybe have a forecast with and leave the Gaelic Warrior out.
Could be indeed, like leaving Gaelic Warrior out of the equation, indeed, in forecast terms. I think if you take...
Of course, it's over bet some of these.
Indeed. Right, 140 is the Derby Sale Novice Hurdle, 150,000. Ballyburn is a strong even money favourite, and that's where I'm siding because John said it will be hard to beat at Cheltenham, whatever race he's aimed at, John.
Yeah, I think so. I've backed him for the 10 mile 5 one, so I'm hoping it looks like he wants a bit further here.
Is he in your treble, John? Is he in your treble? Your big
No,
treble,
the treble's massive value. I can't remember exactly what's in it, but the decent price is handy. It is a winning treble though. Lossy Mouse. There's a sevens Storm Hayat, obviously, plus one other.
Say you're Troy, isn't it?
15 Gs, I think, for the one if it goes in.
Good stuff. So, what we're saying here, John loves Ballyburn. I love Ballyburn. Andy and Nev.
I like it. I like him as well. It wouldn't be a race I'll be getting involved in, but I think he is the best of these. Win last time out, was it 25 lengths last time out? Was pretty impressive. And there's a few in here who could improve, but he's been there, done it, got the T-shirt, looks to be a solid one. If I was going to have to back one at a short price, Ballyburn would be the one.
Yeah, good stuff. Nev?
When this race takes place on Sunday, if Mullins has cleaned up, then this horse is going to start extremely short. And the way he won his maiden hurdle, was it his maiden hurdle, or beginner's hurdle, whatever, it is a maiden. Eye-watering. The horse that finished second, I think, has come out and won this week. Gordon Elliott. He showed massive improvement. His first run over hurdles wasn't bad at all. He finished second to Firefox, who's a smart horse as well. He does look the real deal, doesn't he?
We're all in agreement. 210, El Fabiolo. This is the Ladbrokes Dublin Chase. This is the one where we're hoping that El Fabiolo dumps on Dino Blue, because Dino Blue, all anti-post people are sat there nervous right now thinking, we've backed Dino Blue for the Mayor's Chase. We don't want Dino Blue turning over El Fabiolo and then going for the champion. No. So we want El Fabiolo to trounce Dino Blue into a respectable...
Not if it's in Blogger's role.
well, there is that. But that's the ideal scenario, because I can feel the betting public here. I know what you're all feeling. You're feeling you've all backed Dino Blue for the Mayor's Chase. And so you're going to hate this if Dino Blue turns over this monster, because then it's the champion and you've all done your bollocks. That's the game. Thoughts, chaps?
It's Willie versus Dracula, isn't it?
Yes. Like, you literally, if you've backed Dino Blue for the Mayor's Chase, you literally want her to run this to about 4 lengths, no chance of beating it, but running a great race, because then for the Mayor's Chase, it'll be odds on. And
I wouldn't even want it to have a hard race. I'd want the rain to break and she runs out at the second.
Yeah, exactly. For all anti-post punters here, it's a nervous watch, because obviously El Fabiolo should do the business. Andy and Nev?
I'm just the same as you. Again, it's a race I'm quite happy to watch.
Yeah,
I might well have cleared me 7.5 winners on Mullins by then. So
indeed,
I'm quite happy to have a watch.
Now, Nev?
Superb anti-El Fabiolo in everything he's done over hurdles and fences, and I think he probably will be too classy for everything in this race. Dino Blue, I think her supporters will be the second place.
Indeed. 245 Leopardstown. Right, we're coming to the Irish champion hurdle now. And State Manny's 3-1 on to win that affair from Imperi Pass. I'd say the odds are about right, boringly right. Imperi Pass might get a bit closer than last time, but I watched the replay. I can't really see Imperi Pass reversing the form, John.
They rode him very negatively, though, didn't they?
They did, but it was literally like a length and a half behind it.
Yeah, it was just enough to see a smidgen of hope. It wasn't enough to have you reaching for your wallet, was it?
Yeah. Oh, look, I couldn't take the 1-3. 1-3 is ridiculous. It should be closer in the betting. But it's one of them again. I'm not bothered. Andy?
You sort of got a half sneaky feeling that Bob Ollinger might, and it is a massive might, run a decent race and outrun his price. But in all honesty, State Man probably wins this. It's not a price. It's not a horse. It's not a price I'd want to take, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of roll-ups with State Man, El Fabiolo, possibly even Gaelic Warrior, and a few from Saturday rolling onto it. So if you're playing that way, the very best are British to you.
John, I mean, Bob Ollinger, we don't think's right, do we?
No, I didn't think he was right all last year. And while he moved a bit better last time, when he hit the front, the angle of his head was terrible. I still think he's failing something, but
He's not going to beat these.
I'd be astonished.
320, we move on to the whiskey handicap chase. Yeah, the old Driscoll's Irish whiskey handicap chase. And obviously, me and Andy have weighed in with a klaxon. I know the way you're thinking. The last day. Please, God, does the business for me and Andy. John and Nev, views here?
I like yours. I'll give you an alternative. Adamantly chosen. Didn't get home last time. Came there swinging into the straight. Absolutely on the snaff. Didn't see it out. Dropping back at half a mile.
Fair play. Fair play. Nev?
Really likes a novice in a handicap first time because generally they kind of got themselves nicely weighted. I thought that I know the way you're thinking was had no chance at the weights last time. He had a penalty to concede to probably some better rivals, and he ran really well. I'm just going to be unimaginative there and rowing with him, but there are another 24 horses against him, so I'm not sure I'd be wanting to back him.
Right, fair enough. 350 race is the handicap hurdle. Magical Zoe is 32. Attaboy Charlie is, of course, John Lang's big improver, and hard to argue, really, on what that's done. Conyers Hill for me, so me and John are sitting this out. Sir, Andy and Nev, views.
The one that interests me is So Scottish, back over hurdles for the for a Mullins man who's not called Willie.
Yes.
The Emmett man. I still think this horse is really interesting. I was surprised to see him. I think he was around 16-1. And I just was quite surprised at that. I must admit, I did back him last time out in that when he fell over at Cheltenham, which you never really got a clear shot of on anything when he was behind Fugitive. I still think there's a race in this horse somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but
definitely over hurdles.
You're hoping it's not
definitely over hurdles.
Yeah, I think it will be, John. I think you're right, and that's why I think he's sort of quite interesting. Whether this is just a bit of a float up for something at Cheltenham, I'm not sure, but I would keep a very close eye on So Scottish whilst paying close attention to your good selves with Attaboy Charlie and Conyers Hill.
Thank you, Andy. Nev?
It's a tremendous handicap, and there's lots of potentially horses that could be ahead of the assessor. Antabar has been disappointing. He looked really good when he won his novices hurdle, but he's subsequently been found wanting in better grade. Mullins pair are open to improvement. I don't know. I thought as an outsider, and I'd want big odds, but Nibiru I thought ran quite well on the flat recently at Dundalk, and that was after a long break, and maybe they were just teeing him up for something like this. So about 50 or even 80-1, maybe just a little bit each way on him. It's a terrific race to watch.
Bullseye there, and of course Nev would have been a great bullseye contestant back in the day, answering the questions for the darts player. Then when Nev has to throw, he's throwing at the treble 16 and the treble 19, hoping to win the kitchen for the two lads from Barnsley. Right. Right, I'm not even going to do the last until you've got an opinion. Mayor's National Flat Race. What are we doing for that one?
Back Willie's in the bumper. There you go.
Yeah. John, this is proper let the dog in, isn't it?
And Mayor's bumper. My notes just says, oh, for fuck's sake.
I thought you should have got Nick on, just specially for this, a Mayor's bumper.
Indeed.
Just for the no.
Indeed. Yeah. And on that note, I don't think Neville will have tried on a Mayor's bumper. If he has, I'll be amazed.
No,
it's a no. That's it. So, and on that bombshell, that's all from us. We're back on Sunday with a sermon. We hope you've enjoyed the DRF preview and the best bets, and we hope we can line your pockets with silver with some outstanding opinion from me, John, Andy, and Nev. Bye for now.